Do you know how to whistle?
Jackie, whistle.
Whistle, Jackie. Yay! Thank you, Jackie Emmer. Welcome, everybody.
That almost got me beat up at a Blackhawks North Star game a few years ago.
I suspect that keeps you in line many times, Tom.
Actually, no, she whistled for Dino Cicerelli and almost got me beat up.
Welcome, everybody. Really great to have everybody here. Capacity crowd. We do have other people in the next room who can listen to the program, and hopefully I'll get out there to ask questions. So if you're out there, we'll get to you. Let's get the important business out of the way. It's 3 o'clock, and it's 2 for 1 at the Mexico. And appetizers are $2 off. That makes a $8 shrimp cocktail $6, best deal in town. So please do. And while you're at it, nobody tips less than 20% in this room. Got it? Okay.
Emmer's got to be 25.
And I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Sarah Janicek. I'll be the moderator. My sole qualifications for being this moderator are 10 years in the business, a couple years at the Mr. Steak in Friendly Fridley, and another bunch of years at the Anchorage, which used to be in the Hilton off Industrial Boulevard, where we wined and dined and made lots of money, and I don't think I got close to $100,000 a year. Here is how we're going to run the program. I'm going to hand the mic over to Tom. He's going to say some introductory remarks, and then we're here to listen. Tom's here to listen. I will run around with the microphone. Everybody gets to raise hands, and I'll try to get you in the order. And you have up to 3 minutes to give Tom your opinion on the issues. Now, a couple ground rules. If it gets vile, I take the mic away. Most important thing, and most important person in the room is Buzzer Gal. Buzzer Gal, wave your hand. Buzzer Gal is Sarah Bartz. She is an intern on the Emmer campaign, and she is a junior at Northwestern College in Iowa. And Buzzer Gal, please hold up the buzzer. When your 3 minutes are up, she will hit the buzzer. Hit the buzzer. Okay?
It's actually a bell.
One more thing before I hand it over to Tom. We have a special guest in the house. Who else saw Sound of Music?
I did.
Who remembers Marta?
Me.
Marta, stand up. She's in the room. Marta is really Debbie Turner, and she runs a wonderful flower shop. So with that, get your questions in mind. I'll come running around with the mic, but first, Tom would like to start it out.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody, for showing up. Wow. Thank you. I didn't know what to expect, and I thank you very much. Let's, two things I want to do first, because this is about you. First is I want to thank John and Frank Pavlik and their families. I want to thank Jack and Judy, their parents, the owners of Old Mexico, which, by the way, best lunch buffet in town and 2-for-1 drink specials that we just heard. Somebody had reported somewhere, and this is why I wanted to start this way. Not only do I want to thank them for allowing us to rent this room from them for this event, but somebody reported in the past few days that they were somehow related to me, and they are not. The Pavliks, in fact, they probably have told people over and over, no, we're not related to that guy. But my brother did. The family relation is my younger brother did serve for John and Frank's dad, Jack, at the old Gannon's restaurant, and he was a server for several years during college, and frankly was good at it. I'm more qualified to be a busboy, as I found out on Saturday night, going around here for a couple hours serving. Here's what I would say to you. I would say before we start that I found out something Saturday night, and I want to correct a record that somebody reported last week. First, Saturday night, I'll tell you, it brought back memories of when I worked at the Camelot restaurant. The servers are the most valuable asset that the hospitality industry has, and they are the hardest working ones at the restaurant. And they absolutely earn their money. But the other thing that I will tell you is somebody reported that last week I talked about cutting servers' wages. I'm here to look everybody in the eye and tell you I never said that. I would not. Go ahead and laugh all you want. I would never say that. Here's what we said. We want to see servers succeed, make the most money they can. We want to see the employers, the restaurants, the hospitality industry be viable and stay in business so they can continue to provide those jobs. And we said we want to see couples, maybe even like Tom and Jackie Emmer, be able to afford to go out for a date night once in a while. It is supposed to be a win-win-win. Nobody ever said we want to cut anybody's wages, and you would not do that in this environment anyway, all right? That's not what it's about. It's about raising wages. It's about raising everybody up. But here's the thing. While most politicians in my lifetime, when they are misreported or misquoted, or even when they're quoted in reality and it creates some emotional response, what do? They hide under their desk, they run to a different state, they get their spin doctors to start creating, oh, this is what it means. Here's what you have in the guy standing in front of you, and you don't have to agree with me, you don't even have to like me, that's fine. I've got Jackie, and as long as she's with me, that's all I need, and our kids. But I'm going to tell you, here's what I will always tell you, sir, and I will look you right in the eye and tell you. I will never run away. I will come up and look you right in the eye and say, absolutely, let's have a discussion. Because in this state, in this country, the one thing that we are not doing is when we have a disagreement, we are not having a discussion and understanding that even though we may never agree on a topic, we still live in this great state, we still live in this great country, and we still want the same things, which is a better future for our families. All right? So, with that, let's have at it. All right.
With that, now is your chance to tell Tom Emmer what you think. Please raise your hands. A couple of things. I'm going to ask everybody to provide your name and what city you're from, and if you're comfortable with it, where you work. The press corps has asked for that, to have names of places where we work. One other item of business before we get started. Speaking of the press corps, you see some of them are behind the bar. We did a beer count. We know how many bottles are back there. Okay, let's go. I see the lady right there just raised her hand. I'll hold the mic.
Okay. I'm Daniela from Crystal, Minnesota. I work at California Pizza Kitchen. Just wondering, how many in this room are servers or tipped employees? Now, did you know that this is a horrible time for servers to be at a meeting? We're either getting off our lunch shift or going on our dinner shift. I had to take the night off to come here. So, just thought I'd let you know that.
Can I, without doing the mic, can I just say thank you? Thank you for doing that.
All right, next up, let's go right here.
My name is Colleen Klink, and I am from Stillwater, Minnesota, and I'm not at liberty to say where I work because I was asked not to. I've been a server for over 40 years, and if I was making $100,000, I would be retired at the age of 60, and I am not. Raising my children, I worked 3 server jobs to get them through school and stuff. And I just don't think you understand that not every establishment out there tips the way that some people think that they do. Tips are down, for one thing, from the comment that was made about us making $100,000 a year. There are still a lot of people out there that don't believe in tipping. Different groups of people, and our particular establishment where I work does not allow us to, you have a party of 6 or 8, you are not allowed to add a tip in. And that goes on our chits. When you sell a certain amount of money, you are required by law to claim a certain amount of money, whether you've made that tip off that table or not. And I just think that's something you need to be aware. If wages are cut, I was just now able, about 10 years ago, to get into a 401k and to have health insurance. With a raise pay cut, that would be gone for me because my bills, my tips pay my bills. And we need to get that across to you.
All right. I tell you what, I'm gonna do my best to first hands raised go, but I'm gonna try to get all over the room. So let's work this side. I'll come back to you guys over there. Hands over here, way far in the back.
My name is Mike Whalen. I'm from St. Paul, Minnesota. I've worked at some of the most expensive restaurants in Minnesota, the Rosewood Room. For one, I've worked there. I've been a waiter for 40 years, and I've never made more than $22,000 a year. I've claimed all my tips, cash included. If I didn't, now I'm still working in the same hotel, but the Rosewood Room is closed. I'm making, last year I made $14,000. If I didn't have my $5 or the minimum wage, I'd be off of probably another $5,000 or $6,000. It's unbelievable what's going on now. You know, very few. I was trying to figure out when I was driving over here from work. I just got off at 2:20, trying to figure out how much money you would have to make per day to make $100,000 a year, and it just blows my mind. It's impossible. $200 a night, 5 nights a week, that comes up to $48,000 a year. It's outrageous. You know, so you got to think about what there's so many of us, and you know, like if they cut us back, I worked for $2 an hour when I first started in the 70s at the Radisson South. You know, right close to where you were working. That was $2.10 an hour. It was horrible. Thanks.
Thank you. Hands. Show of hands. Any more on this side? Okay.
My name is Alex Zaholski. I'm originally from Brooklyn Park. I currently work at the Richfield Houlihan's. If anybody loves Houlihan's, great happy hour. Anyways, they probably don't even know that I'm here, but I have a different perspective. I've worked as a server for about 5 years. It's not by any means my career, and I bless those who make it a career. But at the same time, I've worked in Michigan, where they pay $2.65 an hour. I've worked in Omaha, Nebraska, where they pay $2.16 an hour. I've worked in St. Louis, Missouri. I've worked in Kansas City, Missouri. And I made more money in those cities, honestly, than I did here. And it was not because of my hourly wage. It was because people are aware. People know that servers oftentimes aren't there for their careers. However, those that are, they take care of those people when they provide that service that all of us have so much pride in. And what I believe Mr. Emmer is talking about isn't decreasing our wages by any means. In turn, he's talking about a credit for the future to help other businesses to grow.
Hey, just a minute. Let's do this the Minnesota nice way. We're here to have people give their honest opinions so that Tom Emmer can listen. And it doesn't help when you boo people who have volunteered to speak. It's quite rude. Please stop.
See, I heard the same rumors that everybody else did, that we were going to get our wages slashed, and the first thing I thought was, great, well, more money can go into this business to thrive this business, so we have a job. Hold off the hackles. The reality is, business owners, they don't put money just anywhere. They put money into their business because that is their livelihood. That is what they do. And employing us, I worked with a gentleman downtown Minneapolis. He had to close his business. Part of it was because of lack of business, but he kept lowering his prices, and it was our wages that I believe helped close that business down, and it was unfortunate. But he looked me in the eye and said, Alex, I feel terrible that I can't provide employment for you anymore. And I looked at him in the eyes and I said, Benny, thank you. But at the same time, I understand your situation.
All right, show of hands. I'm moving this way. Next question, or next comment.
Back here. Questions outside of the
I'll come back across the way. Oh, here we go. Name and place.
My name is Elise Ijadi. I'm short. I'm from St. Paul.
Tom, we're over here. Can everyone be quiet so Tom can hear? The acoustics are terrible in here.
Could you say the name again?
Hi, my name's Elise Ijadi. I'm from St. Paul. I currently work at a fine dining restaurant, and I didn't ask permission to share that information, so I'm not going to say where. And my question is actually, why not reduce the minimum wage? What I understood was lowering the wage to $2.13 or $2.14. And there are so many other tipped positions in the states. I mean, in this state, the other things that came to mind were cab drivers, tattoo artists, sushi chefs. The cooks get tipped out oftentimes, coat check girls. Those are people who also make a living off tipped wages. I feel like the restaurant industry and servers in particular are being singled out in this way. I don't make anywhere near that amount of money. I feel blessed also to have been in a nice restaurant, but it took me 9 years to finish my undergraduate degree waiting tables and going to school part-time and not having health insurance. I had to drop out my freshman year of college because I got strep throat and I had over $500 in medical bills. It's not easy, and I guess I just don't understand how this would be a solution. And my other question is, where does the money go? The money that isn't going to our wages, who gets it? And why are they more deserving of that money than the servers?
Thank you. Next hand.
Sarah, let Tom speak. Let Tom speak.
Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Paul Brennan. I'm from St. Paul. I work at Tavern and Grand. Anyway, first of all, I had a couple questions for you, sir. And first of all, I made $19 today at lunch. It was not a good lunch, but I made $19. But whatever. I can make good money someday. All right. Anyway, quick comment in regards to the comment of if you lower the wages, people are going to tip more. What are you talking about, man? I mean, seriously. That's whatever craziness that is. I don't even know, but that's cool. It's your opinion, and that's fine. But it's like that is just. I mean, that's really out there, pretty far. I just want to know. I read that you stated, I guess, in committee or something like that, that you were for eliminating minimum wage, which. I guess which would be a little worse than lowering it, but I want to know if you actually said that. And I was actually also wondering if you were misquoted, what exactly did you say? Because if you were misquoted, fine, but I want to know what you did say, I guess.
Tom, do you want to respond to that now, or you want to wait till the end?
First off, your first question is, did you ever talk about eliminating the minimum wage? In 2005, I offered an amendment while there was a minimum wage discussion going on the House floor that would eliminate minimum wage so that we could have the discussion about this. That I believe a minimum wage actually frustrates somebody's ability to make more than the minimum wage. You don't have to agree with me on that. Hey, please. I'll be respectful of you. All I ask in return is whether you disagree or not, just give me a chance to tell you why. No, we don't even have to get into that, please. This is not supposed to be about our guy, your guy. This is supposed to be about a discussion. The minimum wage, I believe that if you excel, if you're the best server in the house, you should be allowed to make more than the minimum wage. And if maybe you're not the best, maybe you're the weakest, maybe you should make a little bit less and be able to work your way up. I think it allows people to do better. But here's what the question was, okay? Back at that time, I offered that. Did you know that the same day I voted for a minimum wage that would have raised it to $9.25 or $9.75 an hour? Did anybody tell you that? No, of course they didn't, because what I said last week was this. What I said, because it's the wrong answer, in my opinion, so if you want to know where I stand, I just told you. The minimum wage, I never talked about cutting it. You don't do that in this economy. You don't even have that discussion. What I said last week was this. When I was asked about a tip credit, I said absolutely. I was asked next, so you're saying reduce the minimum wage? I said we can't do that. We got a federal minimum wage law that's $7.15 or $7.25 an hour. No, you don't do that. What I was talking about is we have to find a way for everybody to succeed. The idea was everybody's got to be able to make the highest possible wage available. More importantly, we lost 300 restaurants last year in Minnesota. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but we lost 300. I want to make sure servers are making a good living. And by the way, on the $100,000 number, that was used as and I see you shaking your head. All I did was repeat what I was told by Joe, the owner, who since has said, no, he misunderstood me. I said there's a possibility to make 100. You know what? That isn't the point. It's not the amount. The idea was not about, servers are making too much money. I want servers to make as much money as they can, okay? No. By the way, let's just close the loop on it. So when we talk about it, yesterday, the reason I put out the proposal, because this is a great discussion, you don't tax tips. So if you got somebody who's making $20,000 a year, not only do we have to not worry about what this poor guy who talked earlier, and I wrote his name down, Mike, talking about how he tracks his tips religiously. When you get busy, as I found out the other night, man, how easy is it to track those tips? It's not easy. And I'll tell you what, it would save somebody making $20,000 a year an extra $500 in their pocket, somebody making $30,000 extra $800. We got to find a way for everybody to win.
All right, thank you, Tom. Now, I'm being motioned out into the hall out there to answer questions, but meanwhile, it's 2 for $1 at the bar. The classic margarita is made with Don Julio tequila, $8.95. Remember, you get 2 for $1, but you also know the rule. As a former server, you tip as if you bought the 2 drinks. Got it? 20%. Okay. Okay, here we are. Go ahead, you're up.
Sorry, thank you. Hi, my name is Ann. I've waited tables for over 10 years. I am absolutely horrified by the statements I watched you make on film, basically claiming that we don't deserve to make the wages that we do, that it's ridiculous that a server would make $100,000 a year while an owner is making less than that or is having a hard time putting their bills together. My understanding of your statement is the only people who deserve to make six figures are people who own property. Any attack on minimum wage is attack on the working class. $7.25 is hardly a livable wage. We work so hard. Most of us don't have health insurance. Most of us don't have 401ks. Most of us don't have any type of financial protection. I just am absolutely enraged with what you had to say. I find it to be abhorrent and incredibly irresponsible.
All right, thank you. What I'm doing here now is people out here want to ask questions. Tom wants to see you as you make your remarks. So let's bring you in the door here. And we are, Tom, we're right here. Yeah.
Hi, Tom. My name is Heather Schilling. I live in New Brighton. I've been in the business for probably 25 years now, and I actually do use my paycheck for my medical insurance for my 4 children. I've been doing this, like I said, many, many years. How about we explore the options of the blue laws that Minnesota has? We don't sell alcohol on Sundays. We don't sell vehicles on Sundays. What about also not giving corporations like Walmart business? They treat their employees like crap. Their medical insurance is horrible. We pay their medical insurance through our state. How about also we pay for their daycare expenses because a full-time employee at a Walmart is still at poverty level. Why would you not touch them instead of us who work hard for our money? I support my 4 children with this wage.
Okay, and did we get your name? And where
Heather Schilling.
Okay, thanks, Heather. And where do you work?
I'm not at liberty to say, but I do work at 3 different jobs to support my children.
All right, next question. Is there one in this side of the room that's easy to get to? All right, back out I go. Go that way? All right. I'll be back out that way in a moment. Hands, please. Purple golf shirt. You were the first one up.
Tom, you said that. My name's Nelson Inns. I'm a teacher, actually, social studies teacher. I was a bartender for 12 years. Went to school full time while I was a bartender and managed to get a teaching license. Now I teach in public school. I was wondering I have 2 questions. First one is, what do you think that the minimum wage should be? And then the second question I have is, if you were aware of the last time that the minimum wage went up, there was actually an expansion in the hospitality industry in Minnesota that was greater than the expansion in the 90s during the boom years. I was wondering if you were aware of that.
Nelson, that's not true. Your second statement. I can't hear you.
Hold on. Tom, I'll bring the mic over.
Doesn't matter, he's telling lies.
Brandon, first I'd tell you your second statement that somehow the hospitality industry expanded after the minimum wage was raised, that's not true. And I'll let somebody else who's here to talk about it, somebody will know. Maybe there's an owner, a restaurant owner. Is somebody here? Oh yeah, I'm sorry. We're supposed to listen to just certain people. We're not supposed to listen to everybody. I think you got to listen to everybody. We're not all going to be happy with what everybody has to say. What's that?
I can tell you my source. You can look up on the jobs now.
Yeah, no, I understand that, and I would show you information that shows that that's not true. So, well, I'm more than willing to listen to you and see what you have to say. The other thing is, I've never proposed, in the past week, it was never about a proposal to reduce minimum wage, so we're not even having that discussion.
Okay, show of hands. Right here.
Okay. Hi, my name is Nestor Riano. I'm from Roseville.
I'm sorry, what was the first name?
Nestor, N-E-S-T-O-R. And I'm glad to see that you're not going, the lowering the minimum wage was not something you proposed or you're backing away from, whatever, it's not on the table now. But my concern, and I think I talked to you about this before, was the gratuities or the sales tax on gratuities. And I think that's wrong for not just for the servers, it's for everybody who pays. If you want everybody to have more money, there's a sales tax on gratuities when the house puts them on there. And that would save everybody, the owners who go out to eat, the customers who go out to eat, the servers who go out to eat, money. And that's more important, that's almost as important as the reducing minimum wage, and I see that you are not on that for now. I'm glad that's taken care of. But, and for I like the last two proposals that you have on the paper here about the...
Can you tell others what that is? You're talking about an employer comping meals?
Yes, the employer comping meals, I don't think they shouldn't be... There should be a tax on that. It's more money for the employers, and it doesn't. There should be a tax on anybody for that. It's like that should be a tax-free benefit.
Okay, in case any of you missed it, there is a Emmer for Governor press release that's got the detailed proposals on it that he's working from, but they're stacked by that far back corner. Name?
My name is Loretta. I'm from Brooklyn Park, and I work as a server at Perkins. And I'm just going to say, contrary to what other people are saying, I personally, my tips have not been affected since all this, so I'm not jumping on a bandwagon and saying that they are. I just have a question. Is your tip credit proposal, or...
I've never made no proposals.
Okay. But any speculation about it isn't related to the health care reform that's coming up in a few years? So it has nothing to do with that.
There was never a proposal for tip credit. I was just asked if a tip credit proposal came through, would you give it consideration? Would you support it? And I said yes. That's it. There's no proposal. Haven't seen one. And the next question was, so are you proposing reducing the minimum wage? And I said no.
All right, I will head back out into the hall, make a couple stops over here on this side of the room. Go ahead. Name?
My name is Ken Rockler, and I'm the executive director of the Tavern League of Minnesota, a former Local 17, I think it was called that, union bartender when I was in college, and I ran restaurants for a long time. I'd like to make one correction. There is no sales tax on a tip. There is a sales tax on a service charge that's put through the cash register by the owner. If you put a tip on, there is not a sales tax on it. I don't know if that went against my 3 minutes, but I might not be very popular on this, but I just would like to give another side of the coin. We ran some restaurants. 2 of them were called T. Wright Saloon and Supper Club. After I managed to lose all of my money down at the Target Center through some of my own fault too at that time, we went back and we needed to remodel T. Wright's. Our business model wasn't doing well after the bankruptcy notice got in the paper about the Target Center. So I went to my mother, who took out a loan on her home at that time, went to the employees and I said, look, we're going to put in 40 TVs, 13 satellites, 63 tap beer lines, and we're going to start running some hellacious promotions on hors d'oeuvres and on imported and micro beers. If this works the way I think it's going to, we're going to make you guys pay $40 a month instead of whatever they were paying, $15 a month for health insurance at the time. And our bartenders were about $275, don't hold me to it, my memory is getting bad, above minimum at that time. I said, we think you'll make a lot more money. Well, we did that, and I said, if it doesn't work, we'll go back to where we were. They cost themselves about $12 an hour in terms of salary, the bartenders. The wait staff were already at minimum at that point. The bartenders made $50 or $60 more a night. So it doesn't have to be a lose-win proposition. There are situations, one last statement, and I wasn't prepared to speak today, but everybody should be aware of the fact that 43 other states have a tip credit. This isn't a demonization of one individual. We're just trying to take a look at where we're at.
Thank you. Okay, so buzzer gal, Sarah, give us a sense of how long that time was. That was 2 minutes, okay. All right, well, I'm working my way out to the back of the room for more comments. The Old Mex is a margarita that they have 2 for $1. 25 ounces for $10.50. For $10.50, you can have 50 ounces of a drink. Please tip $4 on that.
I would just like to make a comment about his statement as far as us not being able to keep track of our tips. Most of our tips go on credit cards now. They are automatically deducted at the very end of the night. We get paid out from our management. We know how much we make. Even if it's a cash tip, you know how much you had in your pocket when you walk in, you know how much we have when you go out. It's not about us doing us any favors by not being able to keep track of our tips. Also, when you look at what we work at for a work week, many of us, I'm scheduled 3 nights a week at the job I work. I'm lucky if I work 1, maybe 2. When business is slow, I get cut. They have to staff and keep enough people on in order to maintain good customer service for people that come in. If they don't come in, I get cut. I lose my wage, I lose my hour, I lose my tips for that night. I count on every penny I have to take care of my child. I just think anything where money is coming out of our pockets on this is not a good idea. There sounds like there's some backpedaling now where he's trying to say that it's something different, it's a tip credit, it's not a wage reduction. Then why are we here? Let's all go home and be done with it if it's not going to affect us, correct? I guess maybe we're not understanding, then your job as a politician, make us understand how this will be better for us. That's what I have to say.
Yep, coming back with the mic. 2 for 1, there's no line at the bar.
Actually, that nice lady just made my point. She made my point. The point is not to cut wages. When you are losing hours, when you're not able to make wages and support your family, when your employer's not getting the business that they need to give you the hours that you need to survive, there's a problem. And whether we agree on what the solution is or not, can we all start talking about how we solve the problem so that she gets the hours and makes the money she needs to, so the employer can get more customers and start taking care of their employees.
Okay, back out I go for questions. $2 off appetizers at... All right, why don't you come in here? I gotta bring her in. Okay, Tom, we're right here in this back corner. Name and where you're from?
Hi, Tom. My name is Katie Warwick. I'm a I live in Ham Lake, Minnesota, and I work downtown Minneapolis. And I'm a student and a waitress. Being a student, I'm working towards putting myself through school. And while I'm not an economics professor, I'm just curious how decreasing the wages that servers make to $2.13 an hour, you know, my math works out that decreases the amount of taxes that are taken out of our check. Add to that $20,000 tax-free. How on earth is that going to improve the economy of our state? And also adding to that the fact that we're going to have numerous servers now signing up for public welfare programs that are going to increase the amount needed from taxes.
Yeah, I'm right here. You want the mic?
Absolutely. That was a good one, too. Sorry. Go, Katie. Is Katie still right there? Hey, Katie, that is the problem. And I don't know where you got the idea that Tom Emmer wants your wage to be $2.13 an hour. That, again, is a wonderful deal that when the media, hey, good. You check out YouTube. You and I come on over. Let's sit down. You and I can both watch it together, okay? Guys, good. Guys, good. I'll engage. We got to have a little fun. Whether you're going to vote for the other guy or not, that's a great system we got, right? I'm here to tell you that that's not... If you can let me finish, I'd be happy to tell you, man. Katie, here's the thing. I put myself through school. I put myself through law school. I did too, and if you want to sit down and talk about that, I'd be happy to. I did that on my own, and Jackie and I have raised our family on our own. So here's the thing. I understand that it's not easy. You got to struggle. You got to work your tail off. I don't want to see your wages go down. Let's not talk about any longer. What the media has reported is Emmer said we want to cut your wage. No, I don't. I said it again. I want to raise your wage. And when you talk about tax-free $20,000, you did it again. I got to help you, and I got to help my friends over here, my wonderful friends that are going to be really close to me before this is all done. I got to help them to understand that the money that you're earning, Katie, that you're struggling every day to pay for school, to pay for your future, that money belongs to you. It does not belong to the government.
moment where both sides are agreeing on the same thing. Maybe there's hope. They had a hand here?
Okay. I'm Dennis Madden. I'm Dennis Madden. I'm a former bar owner, a very large bar, a very successful bar. Back in the 80s, when I owned it, we did $1.5 million a year, so you know that's a lot of money when beer was 75 cents and the mixed drink was 95. I think there's a lot of confusion, Tom, about the word tip credits. It has nothing to do with the wages that are paid. It's a difference between for an owner and a server when you've got the minimum wage and what you're paying them, or what a real wage is. Isn't that? I'm getting confused now. I'm too old, Tom.
Yeah, that's all right.
No. But here, let him.
Well, no, I can't, because there's a lot of people who haven't spoken before, so I can't do that.
Well, I mean, what I'm saying, when you're talking tip credits, I don't think anybody here in the room really knows what the definition of a tip credit is.
Okay.
Maybe 5?
All right. This, by the way, is not sweat. This is glow on my part. This gentleman has...
Hi, Tom. My name is Don McMillan. I'm from Northeast Minneapolis. I have old Minnesota values. Wright County was named after my relatives. I'm a laid-off carpenter. We're struggling with our families right now. My poor fiance works for one of the major chains, and she's struggling. We're struggling to make ends meet. This is about putting Minnesota back to work. This is about making it work for all of us. These people work hard for the tips that they get. I watch her go to work at weird hours. I watch her leave the state and work in other states because she's a training corp for the company. They don't give her extra for that. She makes what that state pays. She comes home to Minnesota because they're struggling out there too. But why should we struggle? Why can't we get this state back to work for all of us? That's what we need to look at, Tom.
Thank you. All right, before I continue down this side, if you have questions on the other side, I feel like I'm giving you short shrift, or I'll take one more and I'm shooting across the room again. Name and place.
Hi, my name is Jan, and I work at Perkins in Vadnais Heights. Proud server. I grew up in this business. My mom, I'm the youngest of 16 kids. My mom raised 16 kids on this income. She worked 3 jobs. She had a restaurant. She tried to make it work. Couldn't do it. It was whatever. But I'm telling you right now.
Let her talk, God.
I am proud. My mom worked her ass off. She worked so hard. I follow in her steps because, you know what, I have a work ethic. I work very hard for everything I have. And this, as of late, my tips are down no less than 25%. I give full, good service to every single table. It has nothing to do with me making potential income. I work very hard. I work 7 days a week sometimes. I pick up extra shifts. My income, I need that $7 an hour, that whatever minimum wage is, because if I don't have that, I can't go take my kids to the movies. I can't take my kids out. It's called a trickle-down effect. It's going to affect everybody, simple and plain. Nobody seems to realize this. I don't know what to do about it because I'm just so freaked.
Okay, all right. I'm going to take this lady right here, and then I'm shooting across the room. So could people be ready to give me a clean shot so I don't have to waste time? Thanks.
Thank you.
Name and where you're from.
Mr. Emmer, my name is Connie Gott McCoy. I live in Woodbury, and I work at Keys Cafe. And this letter, I was writing this letter to you, and I was going to mail it to you, but I found out you were going to be here, and I was thrilled. This letter is in response to the July 6th article in the Minneapolis Star and Tribune regarding lowering the minimum wage for tipped employees. I have your quotes, sir. Hear me out. Statement number 1, word for word from the paper. Let me speak. The prohibition of a tip credit unfairly burdens restaurants and small business owners and makes prices higher for consumers. There are many factors, sir. There are many factors that go into higher prices for consumers. Rising food costs, the cost of new menus, advertising costs for the restaurants, to name a few. It's not fair to blame the salary of a tipped employee solely for a price increase to the customer. Statement number 2, word for word. We want to make sure that everybody's successful, not just the employees, but the people who want to enjoy our restaurants. This statement makes no sense at all. First, you say you want to lower the minimum wage for tipped employees, which would definitely lower their chances for financial survival and success. Then, in the next breath, you say you want to make sure the employees are successful. Which is it? This is such a contradictory statement. How can you say you want to make sure everybody's successful, and then you say you want to reduce the much-needed salary of tipped workers? And what on earth does the term successful customer mean? Successful at what? We're talking about people going out to eat, not on a gigantic business venture that they're working on. Do you think because employees make X number of dollars in minimum wage, the customer will enjoy their meal any less? Yes. You know, take it from me. My customers do not come in to discuss my salary. They come in for our delicious food and great service, and they don't tip any less because of my wages either, sir. Our wages are a much-needed supplement to our tipping income. Every day is different in the tipping world. One day is busy with great tips, the next can be slow with very poor or average tips. No 2 days are ever the same, and you can't count on a guaranteed income. 2 more things. Statement number 3, word for word. Our menu prices are comparable to California and New York. We have some of the highest prices in the country. How often do you eat in California and New York, sir? And by the way, it shouldn't matter when or where you eat, because you get financial aid, let's call it, for your meals and travel paid for by the state. Yeah. Which, the last time I checked, is from me, the minimum wage tipped employee. So where do you get off complaining about the price of your meals when you eat basically free? I work damn hard for my money, Mr. Emmer, and
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, Buzzer Gal. She's timing everyone, ma'am.
No, she's not.
She's timing everyone.
No, she's not. Let her finish.
I was going to push the more 2 for 1 at the bar, but maybe I shouldn't at this point. I think I saw a hand over here.
Say, Connie, you've absolutely, if you want to say it, put me in my place if that's what I said. All right. So let's get a couple of things straight. I never said cut your wages. If Connie, let me just do this again. Just because it's written in the paper. All right, the headline said Emmer proposes cutting minimum wage. I'm going to tell you right now, that is totally false. The statements that you read, let's go through them real quick, all right? The discussion over here about people not understanding a tip credit is because somebody in our media reported it as automatically telling you, Connie, who works her tail off for the minimum wage and whatever tips she gets, that Emmer somehow wants you to earn $13 an hour. That is not true. That is absolutely false, Connie. That is not what I said, and I'm going to tell you this. If you'll allow me to do this, okay? And by the way, Key's Restaurant is fabulous. So here it is. The idea is, if you can draw more customers, and I'm sorry, but one thing I do have to correct. 1, I don't get my meals for free. 2, you don't pay for them. 2, you don't pay for them. And if you want to come in and sit down with me, we can talk about that. I tell you what. Yeah, and so do I. I'm also raising a family of 7 and working my tail off outside of the legislature, okay? Connie, you and I have some things in common. Guys, we're having a conversation, Connie and I. You and I have some things in common. My point with the menu prices is if we can make them even more competitive, maybe we draw more customers. It's for a discussion, Connie. You don't have to agree with me. But then the other point was we want to make sure that these employers are able to pay their servers the wages they deserve, and I don't believe that's a minimum wage. Despite what the paper wants to characterize as cutting it down to 213, it's just the opposite. If you draw more customers, if you have more business, the idea is you could potentially earn more. That's the idea. And the restaurant has more business, so they're allowed to provide more. That's the hope.
Okay, don't forget, it is also $2 off appetizers. That means for $1.95, you can have nachos. All right, I'm working my way. I thought I saw a hand up over here. All right, we're over in this corner. Okay, we're right here.
Hey, Tom. My name is Bill. I'm from St. Louis Park.
Can everyone be quiet, please?
Hey, Tom. My name is Bill. I'm from St. Louis Park. I currently work retail where it's 100% customer service. Before that, I worked at a coffee shop where it's both wage and tip. It seems like there's a sticking point in the room between the concept of tips and minimum wage. It seems like, anyway, because you said the same thing 5 times, yet people keep asking the same question. So I'm not really sure what is the block to the communications. Does anybody have any ideas?
Tom, you want to comment or should I keep moving?
Oh, I'm right here. I'm your next girl.
Well, no, I didn't see your hand up.
My hand's been up for an hour.
You had your hand up? I'm sorry, you get the Hauser seal of approval that you were next, so there you go.
My name is Joan. I'm from Brooklyn Park. I work at Papa's Pizza on 42nd and Thomas in North Minneapolis. My pension plan is work till I die. But my question is, when are the public servants of this state going to get a logical economic discussion going to move our state forward? I don't care about minimum wage. I mean, the whole thing, it's just, we go round and round and round, and I would like you to answer that question for me.
We've already started. I hope you go to our website and you look at what we're talking about. It's about giving people more of their money and allowing them to make more of their own opportunities. That's
Okay. Yeah, that's not a good answer, but that's okay.
All right,
Okay.
moving along the back here, right here. No, I gotta keep going.
All right. My name is Kaya Schaefer, and I work in 3 different restaurants. As it stands right now, my medical comes out of my paychecks. If restaurants are allowed to, cut our wage, which you say that's not going to happen, if that does, are restaurants going to be required to provide more affordable health care? Because I know that if that happens, I'm not going to be able to afford it. That's going to be coming out of my tip money, which means less money going home for me, less money for me to support myself with.
We never proposed reducing the minimum wage.
Well, I understand that, but then what are you going to do? What's your plan?
I tell you what, as Tom said, you can go to the website and he'll address all that in his closing remarks, but you can't find it all on the website.
Hi there, my name is Rachel, and my husband is a chef. He's worked in the industry for over 15 years. And I just wanted to let you know that if you put into place in Minnesota a law like that in Arizona that sends all of our police officers after undocumented immigrants who work in the fields, who work as bussers, who work as prep cooks, that is going to reduce the amount of money that business owners in the restaurant industry are able to make much worse than any problems with tips that you're having. This is not Arizona. That's my tip for you.
Okay.
I played hockey for a lot of years, and that guy actually got me to jump a little bit. I love that. Where'd he go? Is he still around? Tell him to come on back. We can have a discussion. That's right.